21st of April, 2016. The day that the artist formerly known as Prince became the artist formerly known as Alive. And somehow, even that sentence feels like something Prince would have appreciated. Maybe just a little bit. We'll circle back to that date later. Here's a recap of who Prince was for the basics. Prince Rogers Nelson was born on the 7th of June 1958 in Minneapolis, Minnesota to musicians John Lewis Nelson, whose stage name was Prince Rogers, Prince's namesake, and Mattie Della Shaw. Prince had multiple half-siblings, and only one biological sibling, being his sister Tyka Nelson. It is reported that John Nelson, Prince's father, named him Prince because he wanted Prince to do, and I quote, everything I wanted to do. Prince actually didn't like his name growing up, and he instead called himself Skipper growing up. Prince said he was born epileptic and had seizures when he was young. He wrote his first song, Funk Machine, when he was 7 years old, on his father's piano. About 3 years later, his parents, Father John and Mother Mattie, divorced. His mother would go on to marry Hayward Baker. She had a son with Baker named Omar. Prince's relationship with Omar was not very good and led to him bouncing between homes, living with either his dad or his mother and stepfather. Well, that's enough about Prince's childhood. Let's get to the music, shall we? Now, this man has 39 albums, so this will be a long one. But first, we have to start in 1975, when Pepe Willie, the husband of one of Prince's cousins, formed the band 94 East. Prince and Andre Simone were hired to record tracks for the band. Prince contributed for guitar tracks, and Pepe Willie wrote the songs. A year later, in 1976, after he graduated from Central High School, Prince created a demo tape with producer Chris Moon. The demo recording resulted in interest from several record companies, such as Warner Bros. Records and Columbia Records. In 1977, with the help of Minneapolis businessman Owen Husney, Prince signed a recording contract with Warner Bros. Records. Warner Bros. Records agreed to give Prince creative control for 3 albums, and the record would retain his publishing rights. Owen Husney and Prince left Minneapolis to move to Sausalito, California, where Prince's first album, For You, was recorded at Record Plant Studios. Mixing of the album occurred in Los Angeles, and the album was released on the 7th of April, 1978. Hey, he's got his first album out. Isn't that great? Anyways, Prince wrote, produced, arranged, composed, and played all 27 instruments on the album. Bullshit. Except for the song Soft and Wet. What a title. Which was co-written by Chris Moon. Prince was a multi-instrumentalist, and that'll probably be coming up again. In 1979, Prince formed his first band, later called The Revolution, with Andre Simone as the bassist, Des Dickerson as the guitarist, Gail Chapman and Dr. Fink on the keyboards, and Bobby Z on drums. The debut performance was at the Capri Theater on the 5th of January, 1979. Later that year, on October 19th, Prince released a second studio album, self-titled Prince. The album reached number 3 on the Billboard Top R&B/Black Albums chart and number 22 on the Billboard 200. Oh, and the album was certified platinum. Michael Jackson, a future rival of Prince, released his 5th studio album, Off the Wall, 2 months earlier in August. A year later, in 1980, Prince released his 3rd album, Dirty Mind, which contained sexually explicit material, most notably the songs Head, which contained lyrics about oral sex, and Sister, which caused much controversy. Next album. As the song was about incest. Yikes. The album was certified gold. In February 1981, Prince went on SNL, performing his song Party Up from the Dirty Mind album. 8 months later, Prince released his 4th album, Controversy. This album marked the beginning of Prince not giving a shit about his spelling, using the letter U for the word U, the number 2 for the word T-O, and the number 4 for the word F-O-R. In late 1982, Prince released a double album, 1999, which sold more than 4 million copies. The title track was a protest against the unauthorized distribution of nuclear weapons. One of the songs from the 1999 album, Little Red Corvette, was one of the two first music videos by black artists, alongside Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, to be played on MTV in heavy rotation. MTV had been perceived as against black music, and they initially refused to play the videos, reportedly being more sided towards white acts, more specifically like white rock acts. CBS president Walter Yetnikoff, 1933 to 2021, threatened to pull all CBS acts from MTV, and that's how Little Red Corvette and Billie Jean were played. Prince and Michael Jackson had a competitive rivalry which lasted many years. However, that is not the main topic of the video. International Lover, one of the songs from 1999, earned Prince a nomination at the 1984 Grammys for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. Now, let's get to what perhaps is the peak of Prince's career. On the 27th of July 1984, a romantic rock musical drama film titled Purple Rain was released. It starred Prince and it was loosely autobiographical. The film was a success. A month earlier, on the 25th of June 1984, Prince released his 6th studio album and a soundtrack to the Purple Rain film of the same name, Purple Rain. The Purple Rain album is considered to be the peak of Prince's powers. However, as guaranteed with Prince, the Purple Rain album caused controversy. The sexual nature of the music video for When Doves Cry was considered too explicit for television amongst network executives. Tipper Gore, the at-the-time president, the at-the-time wife of the future vice president, that's where I got president from, and then U.S. Senator Al Gore, heard her 11-year-old daughter, Corinna Gore, listening to a Prince song from the Purple Rain album, Darling Nikki, which gained infamy for its sexual lyrics and a direct reference to masturbation. Yikes, Prince. Tipper Gore then founded the Parents Music Resource Center, which led to the mandatory use of the warning label on albums and/or records that had language or lyrical content unsuited for minors. The label would go on to be known as Parental Advisory, explicit content / lyrics, or just Parental Advisory. Prince released his seventh album, Around the World in a Day, in 1985. A single from the album, Raspberry Beret, reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and by golly, Prince, that's impressive as hell. Prince would go on to release his 8th studio album, Parade, in 1986. Look at the cover! Look at it! That's amazing! The first single from the album, Kiss, and that's an iconic song, reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Holy crap! In the same year, the song Manic Monday, which was written by Prince and recorded by the female pop band The Bangles, reached number 2 on the Hot 100. So yeah, the Hot 100 had 2 songs in the top 2 that involved Prince. Prince was a demon. I mean, wow. After the Parade tour, Prince disbanded his backing band, The Revolution. Before this happened, Prince was working on 2 separate projects. An album with the band titled Dream Factory, and a solo one titled Camille. After The Revolution was disbanded, Prince could combine material from both shelved albums with other songs into a 3 LP album to be titled Crystal Ball. Prince's record label Warner Bros. Forced him to cut the triple album into a double album, having it titled Sign O' the Times, or just Sign of the Times, and releasing it on the 31st of March 1987. The album's tour was a success overseas. The Warner Bros. Record label and Prince's managers wanted to bring it to the US, but Prince disapproved because he was ready to produce a new album. The film Sign of the Times was released on the 20th of November 1987, and it received better reviews than Prince's previous film, Under the Cherry Moon, which corresponded to his... Hold on. Never mind, we'll get to that later. However, the film's box office receipts were minimal, and it quickly left the cinema. So, yeah. Returning to Prince and Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson's seventh studio album, Bad, was also released in 1987. The album's title track was meant to be a duet with Prince himself, but the song's first line, "Your Bud Is Mine," was too much for Prince. Prince said in a 1997 Chris Rock interview that he would not sing the opening line to Jackson, and neither would Jackson to Prince. The Black Album was meant for release after Sign of the Times, but Prince had it quickly recalled after he had a spiritual epiphany that the Black Album was evil and had it recalled. The album would later be officially released in 1994. More on that later. Love Sexy, holy shit, what an album title, and an album cover. Look at him, he's naked! It was Prince's 10th studio album, released on the 10th of May, 1988. The album was recorded over 8 weeks. Every song on the album except I, and that's EYE, No, was a solo effort by Prince. The lead single from the album, Alphabet Street, peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. It sold 750,000 copies. The album had a 3-leg, 84-show tour titled Love Sexy World Tour, and although the tour was very well received by audiences, there was no net profit because of expensive sets and props. The second level from the 1992 video game Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the second level, Chemical Plant, sampled a riff from Glam Slam, a song on Love Sexy. A year later, in 1989, Prince made a guest appearance on Madonna's fourth studio album, Like a Prayer, co-writing and singing on the duet Love Song. He also played electric guitar, albeit uncredited, on the following songs: Like a Prayer, Keep It Together, and Act of Contrition. Prince was asked to create songs for the 1980 film adaptation Batman by film director Tim Burton. Prince then went ahead and produced an entire 9-track album, which was also credited as his 11th studio album. It was released on the 20th of June, 1989. Going into the new decade in 1990, Prince returned to tour for his nude tour, a greatest hits concert tour. In the middle, the tour lasted 3 months, by the way. In the middle of the tour, on the 20th of August 1990, Prince released his 12th studio album, Graffiti Bridge. The album was the soundtrack to the film of the same name, the sequel to the Purple Rain film. The next year saw the debut of Prince's new band, the NPG, or the New Power Generation. The NPG featured guitarist Miko Weaver, bass player Sonny T, keyboardist Tommy Barbarella, and a whole other brass section to the band known as the Hornheads, with a Z. I gotta fix that. With significant input from the New Power Generation, Prince released his 13th studio album, Diamonds and Pearls, on the 1st of October 1991. 10 years later, Michael Jackson made a possibly indirect reference to the title of this album on his album, Invincible, on the title track. There goes that MJ-Prince rivalry. In 1992, Prince renewed his contract with Warner Bros. Records, signing to and/or agreeing to a $100 million deal to release 6 more albums with the label. Prince released his 14th studio album in October. The album bared an unpronounceable symbol on the album cover. This symbol would be copyrighted as Love Symbol Number 2. The album would later be referred to as Love Symbol. There goes that parental advisory label. And now, Prince's rebellion. Prince adopted the symbol from his 14th studio album as his stage name in 1993. This continued for 7 years. It was in rebellion against Warner Bros. Records, which insisted on releasing Prince's giant library of music at a normal pace. Prince was notoriously a super fast workhorse. From 1993 to 2000, Prince was referred to as the artist formerly known as Prince or TAFCAP, a way to humorously refer to Prince during his Love Symbol stage name era. From the span of 1993 to 2000 in this video, I will be referring to Prince as TAFCAP. Oh, here we go. In 1994, TAFCAP, as a means to escape his contractual obligations to Warner Bros. Records, began to release multiple albums in quick succession. This ties back into the shelved album, The Black Album, which would also be released in 1994. And this is the album cover for The Black Album. In case you haven't noticed, I've been showing the album covers for each Prince album related to the era that I've been talking about here. TAFCAP pushed to have his next two albums, Come and The Gold Experience, released at the same time. Though Warner Bros. Accepted the release of both albums, they would delay the release of The Gold Experience until September 1995, fearing market saturation. TAFCAP released the album Chaos and Disorder in 1996, completing his contract with Warner Bros. Records. He also submitted the album The Vault, Old Friends for Sale, with a 4, by the way, if you didn't remember that, to Warner Bros. Records. That album's release wouldn't happen for a few more years. That same year, TAFCAP would marry longtime girlfriend and musical companion Mattie Garcia. Again in 1996, the two would have a son together, Amir Nelson, though he unfortunately died at 6 days old of Pfeiffer disease type 2. Free of any contractual obligations to Warner Bros., TAFCAP attempted a major comeback in 1996 with the release of Emancipation, a massive 36-song 3-CD album with each disc being exactly 1 hour long or 60 minutes. It was his 19th studio album. Emancipation was certified platinum. Crystal Ball and The Truth, TAFCAP's ignore that. TAFCAP's 20th and 21st studio albums were released simultaneously on the 29th of January 1998 in the box set Crystal Ball. The Vault, Old Friends for Sale, TAFCAP's 22nd studio album, was released on the 24th of August 1999 by Warner Bros. That same year, TAFCAP signed with a major label, Arista Records, and released Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic. That's an amazing name. His 23rd studio album. Going into the new decade, on the 16th of May 2000, TAFCAP officially retired the Love Symbol as his name, and he was not Prince again. That same year, he and Mattie Garcia would divorce. Good Lord, I can finally stop calling him TAFCAP. That hurt my soul. Like, genuinely. Fast forward to almost 4 years later. On the 8th of February 2004, Prince performed at the 2004 Grammys with Beyonce. She's Beyonce is just a little somebody. No, it's Beyonce. Performing songs such as Purple Rain, Let's Go Crazy, and Baby I'm a Star, all from Prince's album Purple Rain, and Beyonce's Crazy in Love. The following month, Prince was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, for the image that is being shown right here. Musicology, Prince's 28th studio album, was released in April 2004 through a one-album agreement with Columbia Records. Prince won 2 Grammys for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance for Call My Name and Best Traditional R&B Vocal Performance for the title track. Prince was named number 27 on Rolling Stone's list of the 100 greatest artists of all time, also in 2004. In late 2005, Prince signed with Universal Music Group to release 3121, his 31st studio album, on the 21st of March 2006. Haha. Get it? To promote 3121, Prince guest starred on Saturday Night Live on the 4th of February 2006, 17 years after his last SNL appearance on the 15th anniversary special, and nearly 25 years out since his first appearance on a regular episode in 1981. This was mentioned earlier, if you were paying attention. In November 2006, Prince was inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame. In that same month, Prince opened a nightclub titled 3121, probably named after his 31st studio album released earlier that year. And now, what's probably Prince's most iconic performance. On the 4th of February 2009, Prince played the Super Bowl 41 halftime show in Miami, on a large stage shaped like his symbol and former stage name. It was raining that night, and the performance coincidentally ended with Purple Rain. The performance began with a cover of I've been saying Prince a lot, of the Queen song "We Will Rock You." The performance has been hailed as the greatest Super Bowl halftime performance of all time. Go watch it. It's totally worth it. On the 25th of June 2009, Michael Jackson died of an acute propofol overdose at the age of 50. I'm sure we all know this by now. Prince was reportedly on tour during Jackson's death. And when Prince heard the news of Jackson's death, it is rumored Prince canceled the tour, locked himself in his room, and refused to come out for days. What? So I guess they didn't hate each other. Going into the new decade, in July 2010, Prince returned with yet another album, 2010, which was his 35th studio album. Okay, anyways, let me try that again. Going into the new decade, in July 2010, Prince returned with yet another album, 2010, which was his 35th studio album. Ha 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 ha. Get it? 2010 equals 2010. I'll see myself out now. On the 7th of December 2010, Prince was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Wait, that's a thing? Fast forward to 4 years later. Prince released 2 albums. Plectrum, I can't even say it. Plectrum Electrum, amazing album title, which I can't even pronounce, apparently. And Artificial Age on the same day, on the 26th of September 2014. Almost a year later, on the 7th of September 2015, Prince's penultimate studio album, Hit and Run Phase 1, was released to the public for the first time on the streaming service Tidal. It was released on CD and made available for download on the 14th of September 2015. A couple months later, on the 12th of December 2015, Prince's 39th and final studio album, Hit and Run Phase 2, was released to the public via Tidal for streaming and download, and meant as a continuation of Phase 1. Prince embarked on the Piano and a Microphone tour in February 2016. This tour was stripped down to just Prince and a custom piano on stage. Prince performed his final show and overall final show on the tour on the 14th of April 2016. By then, Prince was sick. Prince saw Dr. Michael T. Schulenberg in Excelsior, Minnesota, twice in April 2016. Once on April 7th, and again on the 20th of April. And now, the day the artist formerly known as Prince became the artist formerly known as Alive. On the 21st of April 2016 at 9:43 in the morning, a 911 call was received by the Carver County Sheriff's Office requesting an ambulance be sent to Prince's Paisley Park home in Chanhassen, Minnesota. The caller initially informed the dispatcher that an unidentified person was unconscious at the home. Moments later, the caller said he was dead. The person was identified as Prince. At 10:07, Prince Rogers Nelson was pronounced dead at the age of 57. 57. On the 2nd of June 2016, the Midwest Medical Examiner's Office in Anoka County stated Prince died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl. Prince Rogers Nelson is credited as the greatest musician of his generation, which, frankly, I guess you could say greatest musician, but He was known for his flamboyant style and came to be regarded as a sex symbol for his androgynous persona and defiance of racial stereotypes. And there you have it. Prince Rogers Nelson, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Oh, and don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. But thanks for watching.